Time for the Carl Banks Report, brought to you by Bud Light for the Giant fans on game day. Enjoy responsibly. By Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all. By Kia, and by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Two-time Super Bowl champ, Carl Banks, back in the house. Weekly Spa, Tiki and Tierney. Carl, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Fantastic, man. I mean, you got to be pumped.
I know. How can we not be pumped? Carl, you were over there.
Yeah, I mean, this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying you felt this in real time because you're calling the game. The first half against the Green Bay, it was like, oh man, they might score 45 points. What changed? And from your perspective, looking at it from Wembley, it's Tottenham. What changed in the second half, and how much credit does Wink actually deserve for shutting down Aaron Rodgers, the two back-to-back MVP in the second half? He didn't score any points.
Yeah, so I think if you've listened to Brian Daboll talk about his team, he talks about them being a four-quarter team, playing ugly games, knowing that it may not go well early on. And what they've done is really mastered adjustments, halftime adjustments. They probe offensively. We've seen it 2 weeks in a row prior to the London game where the running game didn't look like it had much, but it was a dirty 2 or 3 yards. And then next thing you know, it's clicking on all cylinders. I think Wink is a lot like that too, because what he tries to do with his defense, because they don't have all the talent that they need, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But he's using their core strengths, which is safety and linemen, including their outside linebackers. If he can generate pressure, he doesn't want to give up chunk plays. So if you hit 1 or 2 chunk plays on you, he wants to play great red zone defense and keep you to field goals and not touchdowns. And if he can go into halftime knowing that they can make some adjustments, they'll come out better, which they did in the second half, because they had great, like when Green Bay needed a play, right? The corner fade, the signature corner fade. It's always been good coverage on that because everybody in the league knows Aaron Rodgers throws that when they get on that hash mark.
Yeah.
It's always been great coverage, but a better throw. And what Wink said, we're not going to let you have that better throw. We're going to send 2 blitzers off the edge right into that throw and see how well you do. And it was batted down. So those are the types of adjustments that this coaching staff does at halftime and during the course of games. And you know what? They're scoring themselves when they get in the red zone. That's what helps also.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, you can feel it. And it's varied. There was points, and I know they said this on the broadcast, where, I mean, there's 6 DBs on the field. I mean, Tony Jefferson, who most Giant fans don't know he's on this team right now. He's playing, and Nick McLeod is out there, and Dane Belton. Mm-hmm. Like, the variety of schemes overcomes the lack of, let's call it, great talent. Do you agree with that?
Yes. I agree with that, and especially when you have players who are smart enough to make the adjustments. Because let's think about it. And I'm not knocking any other Giants coaching staff, but in the past, if you get down to your third string guy, you're limited in what you can do, what you can call. This team, credit these coaches on both sides of the football. They lose a player, the next guy comes in and knows exactly what to do.
So we're talking to Carl Banks. That's, of course, the great Carl Banks, 2-time Super Bowl champ and longtime voice, along with Mr. Papa of the G-Men here. You know, the level of conviction within the fan base, let's face it, when they beat Tennessee, it was borderline, well, first of all, going for the 2. Everybody was just popping veins. Or like, we got a guy with stones, finally, somebody with guts. So they were pumped up and they were ready, even if it was a little lucky, whatever. But each win becomes a deeper level of conviction. And, Carl, I'm at the point now where, under no false illusions, they've got a long way to go in terms of talent. But if the Carolina Panthers are going to trade some of I don't mean McCaffrey, some of those receivers, why shouldn't the Giants be making a phone call? Why can't you build for the future and still be a playoff team this year? Go get it.
Yeah, they absolutely should. If they're better players in the market, it only makes them a better team, and it helps them build on the success that they had. Because let's be honest, we talked about this receiving core since training camp.
That's right.
And I'm happy to see Darius Slayton is a guy who can separate, start to do that. But this offense all looked the same. And Tiki, you and I talked about this 2 weeks ago. When you don't have the talent, you got to scheme everything, every drive.
Yeah.
You know, you could have 10 plays and not be at midfield, right? And it all looks the same. Now, if you got a guy like Darius Slayton who can separate, that it doesn't look the same to a defense anymore, because now crossing routes get there faster. You know, go routes get there faster, and you flip the field with a pass interference call or a catch. So yeah, getting better talent only helps what they do. That's, you know, the goal is not to play with mediocre players. These coaches and Joe Shane, they didn't come here to just coach mediocre players. They want to up the talent level on this team.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I'm going to take you over to the defensive side, back to the defensive side for a second. Can you evaluate Kayvon Thibodeau for us? You know, some of my friends, they watch him and they say, he's not really getting home. He doesn't have a ton of moves, right? He's just kind of bull rushing and containing, like he's playing the run as opposed to trying to get after the quarterback. Can you evaluate him after his first couple of starts here?
He's had an impact on every single game that he's played in. Now let's not confuse. Kayvon Thibodeau was not just brought in to rush the passer. Yes, he does that well, but he plays the run. He's their most complete linebacker right now. But he's gotten many pressures. He's gotten hits on the quarterback. He's got pass deflection. So those sacks are going to come. But I think right now he's doing a pretty good job as his fifth game or fourth game as a pro.
Yeah, I think I saw Carl where I might be off on the number, but I could have sworn I saw something yesterday just, firing through Twitter where he's got the most pressures among rookies, I think 8 or so.
Yeah.
If I think that's the neighborhood. Well, let me ask you this, Carl, because talk about the level of conviction within the fan base, and maybe that should embolden the Giants to go and get a receiver from Carolina if you can. You've seen every play. You're in the booth. The Ravens are coming in this weekend. Ravens are not like they used to be. Ravens have a lot. First of all, you can score. Even an average offense can move the football against the Ravens. I mean, do they match up favorably with Baltimore? When this game first came out, I'm like, God, the Giants are going to get destroyed in this game. I think they got a chance to win.
Well, I think this team believes that they can win. They're going to prepare to win. I don't know if there is a favorable matchup against the Baltimore Ravens because they have a unicorn playing quarterback.
Yeah.
Like their defense, they don't have bums on their defense. Patrick Queen's on the defense. They have Calais Campbell. They just added JPP. Now their defensive backfield, they just lost their safety, but they're only going to get better too. Baltimore has they have a certain level of pride and tradition too, so they're going to get better. But defending Lamar Jackson is a handful. You need 12, 13 people on the field for that.
Mm-hmm. And then Andrews, obviously, a really tough tight end, particularly in the red zone. I got you. Well, listen, it's always fun talking G-Man. Carl Banks, 2-time champion. By the way, we finally have a point guard. Nick, start next week, buddy. I know you're ready.
There we go.
I know you're ready.
I'm looking forward to that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's go. And then the Johnnies after that when I'll see a lot of the Johnnies. Carl, good stuff, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you,
There
Carl.
he is. Carl Banks, 2-time Super Bowl champ. All right. I mean, listen, I don't know what to tell Giants. If they win this game, it is going to be – right now they're invigorated and they win Sunday, it's going to be euphoric.
Well, it's Darius Slayton couldn't find the field in the preseason. They get some injuries. Wandale Robinson's down. Kadarius Toney's down. Kenny Galladay is down. Out. Who knows? Whatever.
He never really got up.
Whatever he
crawled
is.
in here, and he's been on the floor ever since.
And
basically,
and you need that third wide receiver because obviously Richie James and David Sills are the two that have been penciled in as starters. Darius Slayton, as Carl was mentioning, he's so right about this. He's a separator. And he's got this burst of speed that's kind of deceptive, which allows him to run crisp routes, and he's open. And I think more importantly, Daniel Jones trusts him. Like, remember Daniel Jones a couple years ago, and he was really good at
Slayton.
Yes,
no question. Slayton was good. I liked him.
There was a chemistry that exists between them, and so I bring this up for this only reason: Baltimore can be had in their pass game. Right, they are one of the worst teams in pass defense in the NFL right now. So, in the only way that I think this Giants team, especially if Lamar goes buck wild, is to win it. Is it unlike previous games where they've just played ugly, muck it up, and then kind of steal it at the end?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to try to score, right? And so Darius Slayton might be the X factor, and if he can be a big game player, and Saquon can be, a big run player, then they have a chance. But if they're just going to try to play this one ugly, Lamar Jackson thrives in ugly because that's what he does.
He didn't kill the Jets. Jets kept it kind of ugly.
Good point.
It was also
Good
raining,
point.
a little different
Good
week
point.
1, but he didn't kill the Jets.
Now it's a good point.
Yeah.
But the Jets, I mean,
a little more talent defensively. I got you.
defensively.